Welcome to the Pro Stupid Podcast. Today we have a couple of guests, quite awesome. We have Scott Presler. Thank you, Scott. Scott, if you want to tell people what you do, we'd love to hear it.
My name is Scott Presler. I travel the country registering voters, sometimes cleaning up Democratic cities, and I am here for one reason, and that's to defeat Joe Biden and elect a completely Republican government next year in 2024.
Awesome. And JP,
Yes.
right here, man from spaces, lawyer. What else do you do, buddy?
Oh, I've got a full plate. I'm totally overextended. My 4 kids drive me insane. My wife puts me in the grave. And then politics just is going to send me to the loony bin. But I'm trying to help my kids have a free country one day when they grow up. That's the main thing what I'm trying.
Amen.
Awesome. Yeah. So just in case, because I don't even think you guys ever heard the name of the podcast. The reason the name of the podcast is called Pro Stupid is because it's a defense. Because people try to cancel everything. So if you call it Pro Stupid, most of the time they leave you alone. So, and because the other side is literally advocating for things that are pro stupid.
Yeah, professionally dumb.
Yeah. So, intentionally stupid. So, anyways, so Scott, tell us what happened in Louisiana, man. It seems like you did a lot of work.
No, I mean, look, we had an election Saturday, October 14th in Louisiana. There were 15 candidates, so Republicans are splitting the ballot. It's on a Saturday. It's in October. And you also have LSU playing football, Auburn versus LSU. So, I mean, everybody's psyched up about the game. And my fear was it's going to go to a runoff, and this 2-term Democrat governor had already been elected. So were we going to lose the election again? And I really wanted momentum. I wanted to push early voting with that football game. I wanted us to win on October 14th, and Jeff Landry won over 51% of the vote on day 1 in the primary. Like, people don't understand this. That is unheard of to win with all of those things happening. And that just shows me, could we win this November? Could we have this potential red wave? And I think that we proved step number 1. And now we're just marching forward 4 more days until November 7th. And we've got Kentucky, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania. And that's why I'm here in this great Commonwealth.
Awesome, man.
We're glad to have you.
Yeah, dude. I really appreciate everything you've done. It's really cool. I really hope we get what happened in Pennsylvania, or what happened in Louisiana in Pennsylvania, because I think that momentum, man, is really going to pay off. So what do you credit to being the biggest thing that got you Louisiana so much?
Well, I mean, I do want to give credit to President Biden. I think it's very important that we credit the Democrats when they bring moderates and other Democrats to our party. I mean, how can anyone be happy with what's going on? But here's the thing, the work that I do is so not sexy. I mean, I register voters and I knock on doors in cowboy boots and, this is my life. But when people see that all of that hard work has come to fruition and we're electing good people in the office and we can actually change the world, that is what's sexy. But, I will tell you, Caddo Parish is majority black. And a year ago, they elected a Republican Republican mayor, and they haven't had one for decades. So we were like, okay, this is really cool, but is it a fluke? Is this something that just happened? Well, I'll tell you, in this gubernatorial election, Caddo Parish, which is majority black, majority minority, they voted a plurality for Republican Governor-elect Jeff Landry. Wow. That shows me, is the tide turning? Are segments of minority communities, like in South Florida, like in South Texas, like in Louisiana, like in Nevada, like even some parts of Orange County, California, is it possible that we are bringing more minorities to the Republican Party? We're going to find out in 4 days.
As long as the votes get counted accurately.
Well, I hear that all the time, and I respect it because it's an opinion. But here's what I very gently say back to people. To those people that will say to me, Scott, it's rigged, it doesn't count, it doesn't matter, why I'd say number 1, we just won that election, and we shouldn't have won it with 51%.
Absolutely.
Then very kindly, because I'm a man, that I'm very gentle, I say, look, have you signed up as an election day worker? And I would say 9 times out of 10, that person that has complained to me hasn't done the work required in order to provide for election integrity. And they go, you know what, you're right. I will sign up as an election day worker. And that's really it. Do we want the Democrats counting all the votes, or do we want eyes and ears and fair representation at every single polling location to make sure there are no shenanigans? That's my goal.
Absolutely.
awesome.
It sounds awesome. Yeah, and especially because they've had, and I'm watching Tim Pool. He said that some of these counties and districts they lose by 30,000 votes, 10,000 votes, and that matters in the long run. If you're not getting out there and you're not trying the same, having the same kind of intensity with tactics that any other side is having, you're not going to get those results.
Well, it's really sad learning about New York a little bit because I don't know anything about New York politics, but I kind of got a real quick lesson the other day. Is the fact that New York was only lost the last election by how many people moved to Florida.
Right.
So it's showing you right now that the Republican Party is coming back, and that I hope people like me and JP, I know, Scott, you're neutral, but we want to take over the Republican Party and make it America first.
Yeah.
But first of all, at least we can agree with a lot of the establishment Republicans on certain things like not transiting our kids, fiscal responsibility. That's the thing. I think this is the year of division inside the Republican Party, so that, in a couple months, I think things are going to come together. I like what Speaker Johnson's doing, even though I understand we need the Jan 6 tapes. I like his idea with the IRS thing, tying it to that. I thought that was really cool. But that shows you, and he's from Louisiana. I don't know. I just think it's so amazing because in my mind, Louisiana is like a lost place. You go there, you go around, it feels like leftist hell.
Mhm.
Like that's how I always felt. So the fact when all of a sudden it said that, and then I heard that you were behind, I was like, of course.
Well, I mean, credit goes to a lot of people.
Oh, absolutely.
But definitely, it was cool to see that in 2019, Democrats had won early voting 44% to 41%. The inverse happened this year. We, as Republicans, won early voting. And in part, that did play a role in winning outright. We just had a woman today. I'm not going to be there on election day. And I didn't have time to get my mail-in ballot. How many people does that happen to? How many votes are we losing? And they just think on one person. No, that's 1 million people that those things happen to. And look, Democrats, they don't have great policies. They don't have great candidates. They're just better at getting ballots into boxes. And like Mike said, we're in Bucks County, Pennsylvania right now. I'm here for one reason, because we have the county commissioners races that we can flip from blue to red. Now, you know what the Democrats did in 2019? They flipped your county commissioners.
Right.
And the county commissioners control the elections. Do you know how much we lost by in 2019? 605 votes.
Oh,
Wow.
605. And you know what happened as a result of us losing the county commissioners? All of the 2020 shenanigans. We, Republicans, allowed and gave access to the Democrats to do shenanigans because we didn't come out and vote in 2019. We allowed it to happen,
Yeah.
which is the worst part.
Yeah, and I was going to say, man, just to your credit, again, one of the things that you're capitalizing on that I think people really need to understand is a lot of people are unhappy. And if you don't go out there and talk to people and educate them, because they're getting lied to, like absolutely just piles and loads of lies that they're getting in the media every day. If you don't go and talk, like you said, knock on doors and talk to people, they're not going to get the right information. And then if you give them the correct information, usually they make the right decision, because most people aren't unreasonable. So just again capitalizing on what you're looking at. You're looking at the disappointment that people have, and you're saying, look, we need to capitalize on this. We need to tell people that they can have better options.
Yeah. Well, and I don't mean to dominate. I want to bring in you too, JP, but I think it's also we need to be more clever in how we present our message. I don't want to have more war under Joe Biden that we didn't have under President Trump. Isn't it just, why is nobody talking about the fact that Putin didn't invade Ukraine under Trump? If he was such a friend and ally to our beloved orange god, as they say, then why didn't he do it then? Why does he wait for a feckless and weak Biden and then Hamas with Israel? So what I do is I'm big on talking to the kids, going to Penn State University, at State College. So, I'm going into the belly of the beast. And what I did is, as opposed to saying, we don't want war, don't allow Joe Biden to cause these wars. What I did is I went out there and said, we need young men and women to fight for Joe Biden, to fight his wars.
There you go.
I said, Slava Ukraine, who will sign up for the draft today and fight for the man that we love, a man of courage and conviction.
It's genius.
Not a single student signed up with me. I know. And with the ones, when they had this look of horror in their face, why would I be promoting this? I said, guys, I'm a Republican. I said, why don't you register to vote? Register as a Republican right here, right now. Let's make sure we don't fight these wars. So sometimes just having fun with it, and I try to make them laugh. If you can make them smile, I mean, that is your way in there.
Yeah. No, Scott, you just have a way with people. It's, you're very disarming. You can tell that you have a gentle nature. And you're not, you know what I mean? I think one of the biggest problems that we have on the right is when someone on the left comes like scurrying over with their wounds. A lot of people from MAGA are like, see, told you so, you idiot. Instead of being like, hey, man, welcome to the fight. Because that's the way we really should be. And I understand it's fun to dunk on people, but man, I don't think it helps our brand.
It's not as effective for sure.
Tribalism is really bad right now. It's like people will vote for the axe murderer in the street because grandpa said that's the family and the tribe that we've been voting for. It's really voting for a team these days, and you're trying to break through the noise. There's so much noise, and it's hard to find truth, really just objective truth in this world. And when you combine that with a society that has lost faith in its institutions, there's an apathy that we have to overcome, along with the battle of true ideas of goodness and truth and efficiency. So it's really hard these days to break through people, and you have to have that strategy, like Scott's saying, have a message.
Yeah. So Scott, so this is one thing I wanted to ask. What do you say to people who poo-poo early voting, mail-in voting, all that kind of stuff? Because you have people who are so worried, but I've heard you explain it in a way that at least makes sense to me. So I would love for you to explain it to the people in the audience, because I think it's great.
I want to first by acknowledging I understand why people are against early voting. I get it. Trust me, we don't want shenanigans. We don't want them to be able to produce something that is going to counter a legal vote. I understand. I get it. But, there are a couple reasons. Like, look, one thing I think about all the time is Nevada. Nevada, we had a senatorial election in 2022. Adam Laxalt lost by 8,000 votes. And they're a ballot harvesting state. It's legal. I can set up a ballot, drop backs, my own, at a gun shop, at a church. I could have, Mike's beer party as long as everyone is getting free beer and they can come drop off a ballot. Like, literally, we can do whatever we want. And 150,000 registered Republican Nevadans didn't vote in 2022, despite them being a universal mail-in state, meaning that if you're a registered voter, you receive a ballot whether or not you request one. So 150,000 registered Nevada Republicans received a ballot, didn't fill it out, and didn't walk 10 feet to their mailbox in a race that was very winnable. And right now, we would be stopping the Senate, too, from passing reckless and dangerous legislation. Oregon, 62,000 votes, was deciding the Democrat governor in 2022. 126,000 registered Oregonian Republicans stayed home. And then look at Arizona. Everybody says, Scott, one day, one vote, one paper ballot. We waited to vote on election day in Arizona. What happened on election day? Machines go down. In Nevada, on election day, it snowed. And in Pennsylvania, let's bring it home, Luzerne County, everyone says, Scott, we must have those paper ballots. They ran out of paper ballots on election day.
Wow.
Which party do you believe, if things happen wrong on election day, who do you think is that going to affect the most detrimentally? Yeah. Republicans. That's our people.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, the Democrats, while they are doing mail-in voting, while they're early in-person voting, while they're doing ballot harvesting, they're voting for months. We vote for 12 hours. If I were a Democrat operative, oh my gosh, I would be sitting there so happy that Republicans are all waiting for one day. What if they close down the street? What if they turn off the electricity? What if it snows and you live in the mountains in Pennsylvania? Because Republicans, we like to do that. Well, then you're setting yourself up for failure. And I'm here for one reason. I'm here to win. And that's why I've been pushing this all of the above approach to voting. I'm here for one reason, to win. I will do whatever it takes legally and peacefully in order to make it happen.
I love that little caveat.
Vote often.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in New Jersey, and my neighbor a few doors down, I'm good friends with, and they moved to my neighborhood 7 years before. So in 2013, they moved. And he came to me and he was like, check this out. He came from Pennsylvania. So he's like, look, we moved here 7 years ago. They sent him ballots from Pennsylvania to fill out and mail in. They forwarded it to him in his New Jersey address, where he had been living for 7 years. So that's the kind of institutionalized, electioneering that I hate. That's the kind of stuff that really makes you feel like you're really against a beast that's hard to conquer, when that's happening from the state level. So we need lawyers and we need watchdogs and we need groups to really focus on those types of policies and hold the politicians and administrators to account on top of getting out the vote like Scott does and everything else. It's really important that we got to watch, because there's so much fraud and waste in government, and there's fraud and waste in the voting system too. We got to keep an eye on it.
Well, let's bring it to New Jersey for a second. We have elections this November in New Jersey. And in 2021, I remember Governor Youngkin was elected that same night. Oh my gosh, everybody was watching Chattarelli, New Jersey, Republican running for governor. He lost, and it was so razor thin, and it was like 75,000 Republicans in Bergen County alone did not vote in 2021. That would have given us a Republican governor. So, I mean, if you at home are watching and, you're not happy with Democratic Governor Murphy and he's got the entire government, all three branches or three levels of government are Democratic. And if, you don't think it's cool that Senator Bob Menendez is receiving gold bars and, lining his quotes with money, because, everybody does that apparently, then come out and vote in New Jersey. Elect a Republican General Assembly and a Republican state Senate, and you will force Governor Murphy to have to come to the table and actually negotiate and legislate. And we won't be passing a whole bunch of higher taxes and property taxes, and people will keep losing revenue because they're moving out of the state.
Yeah.
The Republican Party in New Jersey really needs to man up, really needs to find their courage again, because they're just so passive. They sit back. We're a one-party state now. The Democrats control the Assembly, the Senate, and the governor's house. If you're going to be losing constantly, at least make some noise.
Yeah.
Be a squeaky wheel. Can we please have some activists on the Republican side that are willing to put their reputation on the line? I really just want to see somebody who's willing to fight for the people. And that's where I think Donald Trump, I look at it from like a business economics standpoint. He was a market disruptor. And the way he disrupted the market is that he brought in an entire new class of voters that really had been out of the game for a while. So he upset the whole dynamics of the numbers by bringing people back into the system. We saw that die off the last election. But that's what we need to do, is we need to have that outreach and bring back the people who have been convinced that it's not worth fighting for anymore. That's a sad testimony for a country. It really is.
Yeah, well, that's what's it called? Today, I'm officially brought back. Oh, you're good, man. I'm officially brought back to the Republican Party. I haven't been a Republican since I honestly can't even remember. I switched to independent back in the day because I can't stand what happens in the party. But what happened with the speaker's race and what happened with Louisiana has finally made me go, you know what? I'm going to switch over. I'm going to come back and I'm going to fight for the party because there's a little life in it now. Before, I thought it might always be corrupted, but Matt Gaetz and what you did and what everyone in Louisiana did doing the right thing has really motivated me. And American Mission, which is the thing that I just started working on, that's how all of a sudden I got to know Scott and JP and everything. We're working on trying.
Shout out to Dustin Stockton, Jennifer Lawrence.
Oh, absolutely. They're the
shout out OGs.
Yeah, they're the backbone of it all. And they're awesome. And, we work to do a lot of activism on Spaces. Scott comes in and listens to us all the time. And he listens more than anyone.
I lurk. I lurk.
He does.
Lurking.
I do that a lot too. I'm too busy to be up there talking and paying attention all the time. I got 4 kids climbing on me. I call myself a human jungle gym. I'd like to have a little downtime here and there. So I listen to you guys talk a lot. And then I just come up when I have to say something and go back down.
It soothes me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like with everything else, the chaoticness just going on, I just love listening to the Spaces. And quite frankly, I learn a lot. And I mean, when Dustin and you and Jennifer were on the Spaces for like 18 hours a day for a week, I mean, I was just sitting there loving it. Well, because, Twitter is our news now. I mean, that's where I get most of my information. I mean, I'll unfortunately subject myself to watching The View and having to listen to Whoopi and, but I think it's important that we also listen to the other side so we can craft ways to attack their arguments and then provide the left and those, right? I'm not just hair. I mean, there's more going on here.
No, Scott, it's good to see someone who's been in the fight, who's been in the trenches, and you don't seem bitter. You actually seem hopeful.
No.
So many people are bitter in this
Don't
fight.
seem bitter.
No, but do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I didn't know if we
He
were going to
has a
see
joy about him.
Exactly.
Yes,
I wasn't sure if we were going to see Scott, and Scott was going to be like, fuck. Like, you know what I mean? I try this all the time. No one's getting on board, but it seems like lately things have really been speeding up. And I think that has to do with the technology. If you want to tell us what you've been able to do.
Well, we have elections, as I said, Kentucky, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia. And I mean, if people come out, I'm telling you right now, I know that all the people watching this, most of you probably want to defeat Joe Biden. And you're like, oh, well, Scott, how can, an election in Virginia impact that race or impact me? Well, you just heard it yourself. Vinny was inspired to change his registration to a Republican in part because of the win with Jeff Landry. Pennsylvania is a closed primary state. You wouldn't be able to vote in primaries choosing the most conservative candidate had you not been a registered Republican. And think about how many thousands or maybe even millions of conservatives that aren't registered as they should be, that are allowing the establishment to pick their chosen candidate, and then they're able to wash down MAGA or conservatism. But anyway, if you at home want to make a difference, download my application. This is mine, no one else's, not the GOP, not the RNC. Early Vote Action. It's on Android, for those of you, I know, and iPhone. No, I'm just kidding. I like to make fun of the Android people.
We do too.
But on my app, you can call people in Allegheny County, Pennsylvania. You can text them. I now have peer-to-peer texting. I don't even think the GOP has on their application peer-to-peer. And I'm focused so much on Allegheny because, as I mentioned with Bucks and the importance of election integrity, guys, this is like unprecedented what is happening. No one is talking about this. Allegheny is a 2-to-1 D to R county. It always goes Democrat. And people say to me, Scott, Pennsylvania's lost. It's only Philly. It's only Allegheny. Guys, if you want to defeat Joe Biden and have Pennsylvania elect a Republican president, and quite frankly, they can't win without Pennsylvania, we win this election on November 7th with Joe Rockey, Rockey, Joe Rockey for county executive. I'm telling you right now, you're going to see people change to Republican. You're going to see dollars. You're going to see donors. You're actually going to see people may even move into Pittsburgh, and then our numbers bump up, which makes it even better for us to win. I mean, look at Virginia. Once we elected Governor Youngkin and people saw we could win, now people, instead of moving away to North Carolina, are moving up to Virginia. We saw that in Florida. If we get people to govern conservatively, conservatives will move there and will win more. I mean, it's not hard. We have the blueprint.
Yeah. No, we do. And also, one thing that I wanted to ask you about, which I would like you to get a real good clip of this. What is it? What do you have to say about the head of the RNC and what she's doing to you right now?
Well, I'm always nice, even. I'm not going to go there. I'm always nice. No, I mean, seriously, it's in my nature. I have learned throughout life that you will always be more benefited from being kind. And so even with my detractors, even with people that are horrible to me, like somebody the other day said, I can't believe you elected that lying racist. And I said, I wish you would stop talking about Joe Biden that way. Like, that's my way.
Here.
That's my way of delivering, I'm Irish. So my mom always said the Irish can tell you to go to hell in a way that you'll enjoy the trip. And so that's kind of how I approach politics.
May the road be flat. May the trees be golden as you walk down the road to go fuck yourself.
The funny thing is, what is it? You know what it reminds me of? You and Phenomenology have that thing where you guys can be nice, but it's in that way of like, please go away. You know what I mean? Versus like me, Dustin, Jen, where it's just like, I don't really get angry, but if Jen or Dustin gets angry, most of the time that person's leaving with their head chopped off.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny. You can see them and they're like, oh, I think that is so great. But they don't think it's so great, but they're saying it. No, but I'm here to win. And I've been reaching out to the chairwoman of the RNC for 200 days, literally consecutively. I haven't posted yet today. I think today's day 202, and once a day, every day. And if you go to all her comments, it's always about me, reaching out to me, etc. And look, I have no animus. I'm here to elect Republicans. And quite frankly, if she called me, I'd pick up right away. And I would just try to inject some very humble suggestions, hope she delivers those, and then we can win. This isn't about ego. This isn't the Scott Presler show. I'm here to deliver victories. And you've seen, I'll work with anybody. I go into Phenom spaces. I go into Dustin and Jennifer. I mean, I'll even go to the DeSantis spaces just so we can win these elections. I will talk to anyone.
Yeah,
and those people are notoriously crazy, apparently.
their online presence isn't good. A lot of people who are more like, I guess you would say, low information conservative voters, I feel like, or were DeSantis is, in my humble opinion. And then you have the people who've lost the Trump edge. People don't like the fact that, Trump can be trashed so easily, but it's really sad what happened to DeSantis in a lot of ways. And I hope the people will rally behind Trump if he is the winner. And I honestly can't. I would like to say see people rally around DeSantis, but I don't think, as you know from being in the spaces, it doesn't sound like people will. So I don't know. But I'm with Scott, where I think regardless of what Republicans' hands things are in, it's better in Republican hands than Democrat hands all day. And Scott, what do you think of people who say that you should be the head of the RNC?
I mean, I'm grateful. I don't want it. I think that I am so much more, and I hope this doesn't come across egotistically. I don't mean it that way. I'm more powerful doing the work I am now. Nobody owns me. I make my own schedule. I've been on the road for 3.5 weeks. I will have been on the road for a month here in Pennsylvania, literally living out of my car, eating oatmeal and quinoa and drinking Gatorade as I travel the whole state. And, I can do whatever interview I want. I can go where I want to. I can talk to who I want, and I don't have red tape or people chirping in my ears saying, no, you need to talk about this or talk to that donor. And I just, there is a sense of freedom that I know now that I'm not sure I'm ever going to be able to go back to real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's awesome, man.
Maybe we could make him, like Dustin calls, a regional warlord of the Republican Party. Not so much the head of, the officials. Yeah, they're politicians. That's a game of donors and kissing, the rings and butts and all that. But if you're an independent contractor doing what you want. I've been self-employed for a while. It's the only way to fly. I hear you.
Well, the question has always been, is it better to be feared or respected? And it's definitely respected. And I may not be respected by the upper echelon. I may not be respected by people in positions of power, but I'm respected by those that matter. And that's the voter. And I mean, I see that every single day. The fact that I have people right now who are writing thousands of letters, spending their own money, their own time just to affect the outcome of these elections because they care. That to me means more than anything else.
Yeah.
You're here.
Give him another round.
Love that.
Yeah, I always say it all the time. I say it in spaces. Might as well say here. If we had 100 more Scott Preslers, I think this country would be headed way in the right direction.
It's one for every state.
Yeah, okay.
49 more.
Yeah, we need 49 more. We just need someone who's going to sit there. And today I will see, there's the thing, guys. It's not a show because I watched Scott coordinate picking somebody up to get to a poll today. And it was not something that it was little, you know what I mean? Those are the little things that can stop people from voting. And Scott got on the phone, made sure that he could get her to the poll on voting day because she wasn't able to vote. And that's the type of thing where if you treat everyone with that type of care and compassion and treat every vote as precious, which we don't do in this country, I think that's the thing that will really change everything, is that caring, showing people like, hey, no, I want to make sure I'm not just calling you to win an election. I'm calling because I want your voice to be heard. And that's the thing that I wish we could talk to Democrats about is like, guys, I understand that you guys want to win so bad, but the ones like anyone who's actually fair-minded, you think that these mail-in ballots and the people losing all these votes and having their voice taken away is a good thing? I just don't see how election integrity is bipartisan. The fact that if someone said to me, hey, I don't trust this vote, all right, let's count it again, and you lose again. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. That's why it's so scary. And with all the cheating and everything, I think a lot of people are unfortunately black-pilled. And so I think, Scott, you're just a walking around white pill for everyone, letting everyone know, hey, it's not over. I'm still in this. So we really appreciate what you do.
Well, you have to address the black pill issue while still getting the white pill vote out. You have to. It is a two-pronged attack. It's attack and defend. It's the two things. So I love the work you do, Scott.
No, thank you.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, MAGA, you're right. We are very blunt. We will tell you what's exactly on our mind. And, it's good, but also when you're delivering the black pill, gosh, don't do it in such a way that you'll never be able to encourage them to have hope. And, I hate to say it, sometimes I get so frustrated. I'm putting everything out there, everything. My time is spent 100% on getting Republicans registered and elected. And the doomers and the gloomers, I'm an empath. So I mean, when people have good energy, I feel it. And when they have bad energy, I do too. And I can't do the doom and gloom. I'm an eternal optimist. And when people say to me, Scott, it's rigged, I'm not voting. You know what I say to them now? And I'm not usually this way, but I'm like, fine, let the commies win. Why are you here? I say, why are you here spending your time talking to me on Twitter? Go home, sit on your hands, do nothing, wait for your gun to be confiscated, wait to be arrested, wait to be inoculized, for the next pandemic that's going to come, and just let it happen. Don't do anything. And sometimes when I give them that harsh reality, it does wake them up and they go, you know what? You're right. So we have to also, sometimes there are cases that we need to give them the hard truth.
Yeah. And Scott, here's something that's interesting. Scott, like, what made you really get into this? Were you ever a member of the Democrat Party? Were you ever? No.
That's disrespectful.
Oh no, I just wonder. You know what I mean?
I am way too handsome.
So, like, what got you so motivated? Like, I guess I've never heard. Like, I've kind of always just seen you as someone with your head on fire who's been going around preaching, but I've never heard the story of how Scott came up to be this.
Well, I've always been conservative leaning. My dad's a retired Navy captain, and I'm an Eagle Scout. So, service is something that's bred into you, and individual responsibility, accountability, all those things that line up with conservative values. And I graduated from George Mason University. I did study criminal justice, and I wanted to be a border patrol agent. I even took the test. I know, and I did really well.
Wow.
I was doing PT, yada, yada. At the time, I couldn't find a job within my field, and I was applying to TSA every day, government jobs. I even applied, I think, to be the nature people, Parks and Rec.
Oh, nice.
I know, right? Can you imagine?
Nice.
And I was working at an elementary school. It wasn't my passion. It wasn't going to go anywhere. I loved it. It was a great experience, but I was like, Scott, your life is not moving forward. You're not where you need to be. And so President Obama was reelected in 2012. And I just realized, I said, Scott, you're a part of the problem too. You're not doing anything. You're a voter, but how are you making a positive impact to actually elect good people into office? And so I volunteered, I fell in love with it, and I told myself, you're going to get a job in politics in 2014. I applied to jobs all over the country, and the reason why I'm always wearing cowboy boots is my first job was electing Governor Abbott in Texas. Like, literally.
Nice.
Helped elect him that year. And I said, Scott, you are going to help take back the Supreme Court and defeat the Hillary Clinton. It was always about getting the Supreme Court because I knew with Justice Scalia having passed away, the next president was going to decide our future, literally. So spent 2 years of my life electing Donald J. Trump, defeating the Hillary Clinton, and it's just been straightforward ever since then. 2020 was awful. 2022 should have been a slam dunk, and because it wasn't, I created Early Vote Action, and now my mission is to have a resounding successful 2023 so we can come together and defeat the Joe Biden.
And yeah, I will say in 2022, I remember everyone, red wave. And I remember hearing I would see your tweet every once in a while, guys, it's not going well. And people would be like, Scott's crazy. Scott doesn't know what he's talking about. Things like these people are nuts. And then when it was, the red, I don't even know what it was.
Drop.
Mist. The red mist. Everyone kind of went like, oh no. And then it's like, wait, we don't have the Senate. Oh no. Like we have a 4-5 vote majority. Like what the hell are we doing? We kind of, it's weird. We lost the election and then we thought we could kneel the ball,
Well, and I'm going to put a tweet about this probably tomorrow or the next day. It's like clockwork. Every time we lose an election, the next day, my inbox is flooded with people to volunteer. Flooded, overwhelmed.
Yeah.
But when I asked them to help prior to the election, now, granted, like I said, I've got people working now and I'm so grateful. Actually, this has probably been one of the best years for activism. But, they'll only help after we don't get the results we want. But guys, don't you realize the power that you have? If 330 million people actually did something positively, took a positive action, we could transform our country and therefore the globe. I'm always thinking macro, and I just wish some people would have the bigger picture approach, like even using 2023 as a tool to elect your candidate, whoever that is in 2024.
Yeah. No, you know what? I blame our schools and I blame the fact that, Republicans kind of lost the culture. We kind of let things slide back. We got, I don't know. Things just feel different this time though. And I think that's
Well,
really
you're
awesome.
both touching on one of my big concerns from a philosophical perspective about our country, and that is what if we have reached a point in our spiritual journey, our moral journey as a country, where we are just not equipped as a people to operate a democratic republic that is designed under our constitution. Like the framers said, that it really does
Franklin,
take a good moral
it
people to
does.
operate in this system. And what if we've gone past that line? And that's a concern to me. And that's why I'm paying for 4 kids to go to private school, so that they're not getting indoctrinated with a bunch of psychobabble bullshit in the public school down the street. But it's I'm just concerned that we're dealing with the symptom, and we really need to look at the cause. And I think the cause is in here. As a country, we're focused on all the consumerism. We're focused on things of in personal pleasure, whether that's sexual, whether that's owning things, whether that's whatever you want to call it. But I feel like we do there is a place in this debate to call people back to a place of truth, of goodness, of individual responsibility, of having a sense of care for your country and not just your own self and your checking account. So I'm an evangelist son. Okay, I come from. You said you were the son of a Navy officer. I'm the son of an evangelist. Both my parents are, actually, and they deal with that. They deal with the spiritual issues. I think that there's a lot to that we need to address. So I'm praying for our country too.
Yeah, I'm the son of a crazy Marine, so
Oh,
like
man.
what's it called? Mike helps feed me and stuff. My dad is a piece of work, but he's the thing that makes me so passionate about it is the fact that, I don't want his sacrifice or anyone else's sacrifice, like you were saying, or more sacrifice to happen for something that isn't freedom. And it's really sad that it feels like the left just wants to throw it all away and they don't understand what people gave up. Like I have issues because of the Vietnam War in my life, in my mind. My dad is, if you ever watch The Punisher, that's pretty much who my dad is. You can watch the movie, all the PTSD stuff that he goes through. That's literally what my dad did. And my dad he wasn't allowed to tell about what he did in Laos and Cambodia until 1996. That's how my dad's 100% disabled just from his mind, from what happened to him in war. And that's why, Scott, when you say the thing about war, the right needs to hop on the no war thing. We really, really need to figure out a way to tell people, hey, I support Israel, but I'm not sending I don't want to send a single one of our sons or daughters over there to go die for something that has nothing to do with us. These people have been fighting for how many years? And they don't agree. It's literally in their religion to not like each other. What are we going to do? What are we going to change? So instead, let's take care of home. Let's do things like Scott's doing, and let's make this work. And JP, I think Dustin wanted me to bring this up, so I want to bring it up. He was saying that. Do you understand Scott's app and what it does?
I just
It just
downloaded
helps
it right
get out
now.
the vote.
Yeah, it helps get out the vote and stuff. But he was saying, he was thinking if you could pair that with CBDC
Mhm.
in a way. So I don't know how that's done. I don't know if he talked to you about it, but if you could pair that in a way to make it so that people got crypto for activism,
Oh, I see. Yeah.
how would you think that
I
could work
forgot.
with the app? Yeah, go ahead.
Friday nights, I have a hard time. It's like I just my weeks are so crazy. I was in the divorce court all day today from 9 to 2 in a horrible case. I do divorces, I do criminal defense. By the end of the week, I just feel like someone's been beating me in the head with
Oh,
a
yeah.
club all week. Like that's what I deal with. So I'm sorry, Dustin. Yes. So yeah, with CBDC, I want to get this out. Yeah, we formed the Council on Blockchain Decentralization and Currency. We've applied for 501c4 status. We are going to be an issue advocacy group, and our focus is liberty, promoting libertarian principles in blockchain technology and things like that. One of the things that we are really pushing is that our token, we have our own crypto token now, CBDC, and we've been giving it out to people as an incentive device. So if you attend a space, if you go to a protest, if you do what we call IRL event, in real life event, you can earn CBDC, and it's our crypto token. It may have value down the road. It may go to zero down the road. It's not a value. It's more of a political tool. We're also using NFTs, non-fungible tokens, that we believe that they have the ability to send a memeable message. Memes are powerful in politics. One of my favorite memers is from Pepe fame, Paulie Ox, and he says a good meme should tell 1,000 words in the 2 seconds you look at it. And I thought that's a pretty genius way to look at it. Look at a picture, and it can speak to you in about 10 different ways in 1,000 words about what that picture means about somebody. So with Dustin, with American Mission, with CBDC, we are going to fight for liberty, fight for freedom in the blockchain. I mean, they're coming down with this stuff now. The CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies.
Yeah, not the token you made, but
no,
because that's the whole thing. They're
We're kind of
front running it, which is awesome.
Yeah, we're kind of trolling their token, but you know, if you combine social credit scores with central bank digital currencies, and then you combine that with AI that's, you know, basically tracking everything you do, we're coming to a point in technology where the ability to effectuate tyranny is exponentially increased. You know, it used to be you could stuff your mattress full of cash. That's not the case anymore. Now it's you're stuffing your phone full of crypto, and Washington, D.C. wants to control all of that. So ask Sam Bankman-Fried. But
Oh man.
Oh man.
I still think that was a honeypot of crypto for him. In other words, the Clintons found him and saw an upstart way to basically have their own crypto. This is my conspiracy theory on it, that they formed their own crypto company with Sam Bankman-Fried as their boy, and then basically just fleece the world of about $100 billion worth of crypto.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it. Every time
That's
that guy,
my theory.
every time he comes out of a court case, it looks like he's fighting a laugh. Like he's like choking back laughter because he's like, this is hilarious. I'm getting away with all of it. I mean, I know he just got, I think, convicted recently, but I mean, he's going to sit in like the Goodfellas prison. You know what I mean? Like he'll be shaving the garlic with the razor and someone will bring in the bag with the, you know, the prosciutto and the.
It'll be Danbury, Connecticut, where like Martha Stewart went.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Or he's gonna be like look at Jesse Smollett. What did he serve? Like a week, and then they let him out, and everyone forgot
Oh,
about
that
it.
was
Dude,
ridiculous.
that's what'll probably happen. Sam Bank. And did you see the caricatures? Tell me you saw the drawings from the courtroom. Scott
The
saw them.
character look really good.
I know.
I want that draw.
No,
I want that guy.
Yeah, I'm not
Girl.
exactly. That's what I said. I'm not gay, and that dude was attractive in that picture. But did you see what they did to the
I could
girl?
see Scott, remember like the old Fabio book covers, right? Like Fabio in front, like, with like the shirt open and the abs, like, right? I could see that.
Yeah.
That could be you.
All right, guys. Well, I want to respect your time, Scott. I know what's it called. You could only drop in, so let's see if you got anything to say. You got anything else, JP? You think?
Liberals suck, you know, get in their
Nice.
face. I think that I'm happy to see a lot more Republicans and libertarians getting loud and proud, and let's keep up the fight.
Awesome. And Scott, do you have any last words to say to the audience of what they could do to help you out or help the country?
No, I'm glad you came today. That was fun. You know, you got to see what I do and you got to see it in action. And I just ask everybody, you know, please, if you know anyone in Kentucky, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, New York, Pennsylvania, Virginia, get them out to vote on Tuesday, November 7th. I'm telling you, this win on the 7th would be huge. It would give us so much momentum. People would be pumped like you haven't seen them. And 2024, it would set us up for a really good year. So you can go to earlyvoteaction.com. And this was fun, boys. I mean, I'm really glad I get to be here with JP and Vinny. Not so much Mike, but
Yeah, I agree.
Mike,
just kidding.
I could do without that.
No. Scott, thank you so much for coming here. What's it called? And gracing us with your presence. JP took a long ride to get here. JP, I'll have to have you on again. Scott, anytime you're around, literally, hit me up, come around. We'll hang out, dude. We can I know how to have a good time around here. I think everyone does. So, but Mike, you got anything?
No, just thank you again, Scott, for coming. It was awesome. And I just want to say his message again, don't feel like you don't matter. Everyone can make a difference. Everyone can make a phone call. He like literally invented an app just for that reason. So download it. It's such early vote action
yes,
And
early vote action.
on iPhone and Android. Download it and we can affect change.
Cool. Well, guys,
Amen.
have a good night. And thanks for tuning in.
Awesome.
I'ma change the planet with no effort.
Like it.
I'ma take it to